Hey, what's up? It's me. It's your me. It's your me. It's John Bonjour. I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. We've been traveling and here we are. Anyway, we landed. We're in New Zealand now. We're in Christchurch. It's rainy. This room is super echoey, so sorry if that comes through on the audio. But yeah, we're doing it. We're living. Is that window open? It's so loud. Anyway, we're doing it. We're here. We're here. This is not how these normally go if you don't watch any of my other videos, but I had to get back to making these because I love doing this and I really, really genuinely miss it. So I have some stuff I want to talk about. Most notably right now, the thing that I am most excited about, and also a little mixed on Hellboy, the Crooked Man. If you know anything about me, you know that I am a huge Hellboy fan. Like, huge. Like, I've read all of the comics. I'm reading through the BPRD storyline right now, but I've read the main Hellboy comics heaps over and over and over, just all the time. So I am genuinely excited that there's a new Hellboy coming out because it's Hellboy. However, miss my mug. However, I am just a little bit nervous, and I've got some stuff I want to talk about. The trailer is out for Hellboy, the Crooked Man. It's a new reboot. This is the second reboot they've done, which, hey, if it works for Spider-Man, if it works for Batman, why not Hellboy? Why not Hellboy, okay? There's a new trailer out, and overall, I think it's pretty freaking sick. There's a lot of really, really cool things about it that I am super down for. Most notably, I am so stoked that we're finally getting a horror Hellboy, because that's what he's always been. He's a demon man. He's a demon man from hell. Like, he's gonna have some horrific stories. But B, I love that they're not doing world-ending, huge, high-stakes stories. I am so glad that this reboot is starting with the Crooked Man, which is a great storyline, but also a small storyline. I love that they're doing like a short story of this. That makes me feel like they're actually caring about Hellboy, which is super exciting for me. Don't get me wrong, I love the other three movies, and I'm aware that most people do not feel that way about the 2019 movie. You're all wrong. It's not fantastic, but it is a fun movie, and I really do like it. But I'm so glad that we're finally getting a chance to operate Hellboy as the journeyman that he is. He's like a guy wandering around, helping people out, doing stuff, solving cases, being a part of the BPRD, fighting weird little freaks. That's what this is supposed to be, and I love that this movie seems to be, anyway, trying to keep it on that scale. It's not trying to be Hellboy, the, chosen one, even though that is a part of his storyline, and I hope that they kind of dig into that a little bit. Hellboy, as a story, as a comic, is not supposed to be about constantly saving the world from evil bad guys. He's not a superhero. He's just a blue-collar worker, and his job happens to be fighting, paranormal forces. So that is an element that I am genuinely excited about. I think the horror side looks really cool. I'm super happy that they're tackling this level of story. That makes me think that maybe they could do like a Hellboy in Mexico movie. They probably wouldn't call it Hellboy in Mexico. Whatever you'd call it. Hellboy Kamazoots. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I hope this movie is good. Things that I'm a little worried about. It's mostly the look of Hellboy, right? Like, we've all seen him. Honestly, the look of Hellboy, just from the couple of shots that we've seen, it looks just a little bit, I can't quite place my finger on it, but there's something about it that seems, it's just not what I was expecting, I guess is what I'm going to say. I think the Hellboy comic is not a thing you're going to be able to tackle in live action. It's just not. You can't get a guy that looks like that. Like, that's just, nobody has that jawline. That'd be like expecting the Thing to be a human man. So I understand that you have to adapt it in some way. That said, what we've seen from this, the couple of shots that we've seen, and maybe it's just an angles thing, he's got a very round-looking face. Like, for a guy with a jaw that's supposed to be able to cut bricks, I feel like this is not capturing that. The horns look great. Nothing against the horns. The color, if I'm going to be a little nitpicky, a little too skinish for me. I think it should be a brighter, deeper red. Doesn't really matter. I actually think this is going to work out pretty well overall. But the prosthetics on the mouth, around the face, I think if you just bulked that out just a tiny little bit, it would do a lot of work to make it feel a little bit more like Hellboy. That said, I think I'm getting into it. I've given it some time. I sat on it. When I first saw it, I really, really hated it. And I did not want that to be true. And maybe I forced myself into liking it. This could be a Stockholm Syndrome situation. I don't think it is, though, because I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been trying to kind of let it settle in and taking some time, which is so dumb because it's like, it's a movie, it doesn't matter. But it matters to me. Like, I am more than almost any other character, I am so intrinsically connected to Hellboy and how he does in the films and all that. Like, if they make a really genuinely bad Hellboy movie, I think that would hurt me more than if they made a really genuinely bad Spider-Man movie, because some would argue they already have. But yeah, that's my major concern. I think the look is a little off. The look of the Crooked Man, from what we've seen, super cool. He's very scary. I love that they're making this what seems like a genuinely scary movie. That makes me happy. And also, from what we've seen, it seems to be sticking pretty close to the comic book storyline. I'm sure there will be a lot of adaptation. I'm sure a lot of things will change from that. But it does seem like the core story is the Crooked Man. Like, it's not going to be Nimue the Blood Queen by way of the Crooked Man. I really do genuinely think this is the Crooked Man movie. That makes me super happy. I'm really into that. So yeah, I am genuinely stoked about this movie. I have high hopes. I think it could be really good. The director also made Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, and Crank, which is, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but it's definitely a sign. But if I had my way, I hope that this movie is really good. I hope it does really well. I think people needed the last movie to kind of get over the idea that Ron Perlman is the only person that can play Hellboy. Some of them did not. Reddit is a horrible, dreadful place. I think people needed that to acknowledge that maybe somebody else is allowed to play Hellboy. And I hope Jack Casey? I think it's Casey. I hope he's the guy. I can't wait to see what he brings. I'm really excited about his Hellboy. His voice sounds good. Everything in the trailer that I'm seeing makes me very, very excited, with the slight caveat that I'm not super in love with the Hellboy look yet. But I think it's going to grow on me. So yeah, I'll probably be talking about this movie more because it's just something I'm very passionate about. I hope that it's good. If it is good, I hope they keep making more of these movies, because this is the scale and size of movie that Hellboy needs. It's also, just from a production standpoint, way smarter, because like the last movie started with the end of Hellboy. That was like the second to last comic storyline, and they were like, we're going to adapt that into his first movie. Stupid. No reason to. Radically dumb, don't get me started. But I like that this is a movie that's tackling a smaller scale story, and just from their perspective, why would you not do that? If their stories are good, why would you not make small movies so that you could make 30 of them? There's not going to be 30 Hellboy movies, but so that you can make as many of them as you'd like to, and slowly tackle some of the bigger storylines and slow drip that information. Also, make a BPRD show. Obviously. Like, how is that not something that's already happened? We live in a world where, Agatha Harkness is getting her own show. How is the BPRD not like a procedural paranormal detective show? It's such a no-brainer to me that that's a thing that you should do. All that to say, I really hope this is a good Hellboy movie. Let's start with that. I hope that this is a good Hellboy movie, because you can't build a franchise on nothing. And if this is nothing again, I genuinely don't think we'll see another Hellboy movie maybe ever, but definitely not for like a solid decade. So anyway, if you're excited about the new movie, let me know. Hit the comments. If you're not excited, also hit the comments and tell me why. Just read the comics, really, more than anything else. I think if I can leave on any note, if this movie interests you, if you're just appalled by this movie, read the comic books, because they are spectacular. While we're talking about comics, one last thing. If you would read my comic, Edge of Border Town, it's, I also think, quite good. Not as good as Hellboy, but I think it's quite good. It's free on my website, johnbonart.com, and it always will be. The entire comic will always be on my site, and I highly recommend it, but I also made it, so take that with a grain of salt. Thank you for watching this video and checking out my channel. If you'd like to hear more of my thoughts on movies, comics, TV shows, Hellboy, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below what you'd like me to talk about next. Or do none of that, because I am not your dad.